Good morning, everyone. I'll be discussing personal identification technique. I am Ms. Jennifer Lulu. So we have here summary of topics and items and percentage distribution. So based on our board examination subject, so personal identification technique is one of them under the forensic sciences. It has exam weight of 15%. So we have 9-point agenda. Based on the 9-point agenda, we'll be discussing brief history of fingerprint and then different methods of identification, pioneers in fingerprints and their contributions, fingerprints and the precision skin, fingerprint patterns, ridge and characteristics, which is the curve and the data. Another one, we have ridge counting and ridge tracing, classification forms, and the last one is the automated fingerprint identification system, which is called AFIS. So based on introduction, every human being has a unique formation of ridges in his fingers, palm, sole, and feet. Every print differs from each other due to the ridge details present in each print. Every person's fingerprint are unique, hence they be used for personal identification. We all know that no one in this world have the same fingerprint. So we will be discussing terms, definition of terms, so you would be familiar with the different terms used in fingerprint personal identification technique. So we have here anthropometry. So we have here anthropometry, which is the art of personal identification through body measurement. Next, we have chiroscopy, is the science of palm print identification. The term was derived from two Greek words, chir means hand and skopien, which means to examine. Next one, we have the dactylography. Dactylography refers to the scientific study of fingerprints as a means of identification. Next one. Next one, we have the dactylomancy. Dactylomancy is the study of fingerprints for the purpose of interpreting one's personality. So based on your fingerprint, they can determine what kind of personality you have. Next one, we have the dactyloscopy. When we say dactyloscopy, it refers to the practical application of fingerprints, the making of identification, comparison, and classification of fingerprints. The word dactyloscopy was derived from a Greek words dactyl, which means finger, and skopien, meaning to study or to examine. Next one, we have the dermatoglyphics. Dermatoglyphics is the study of lines, tracing, ridges of skin, of fingers, palms, and hands, derived from the words derma, which means skin, and glyphin, which means to study. Next one, we have the edioscopy. When we say edioscopy, it's the study of edges of the ridges and the various shapes found therein. Next one, we have fingerprint. We all know that fingerprint is the impression designed by the ridges on the inside of the end of the joint of the fingers and thumb on any smooth surface through the medium of ink, sweat, or any regions capable of producing visibility. Next one, we have fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is a method of identification using the impression made by the minute ridges transformation for patterns found on fingertips of a person. Next one, we have the friction skin, which refers to the epidermal hairless skin found on the ventral or lower surface of the hand and feet covered with minute ridges and furrows without pigment or coloring matters. It also called as papillary or epidermal ridges. Next one, we have the polydactylism. When we're talking about the term polydactylism, it is the appearance of extra fingers as anatomically known as polydactylism. It means that you have an extra finger. Normally, we have only 10 fingers. We have 10 fingers, but you have 12 or 13 because there's an extra. Next one, we have podoscopy. When we say podoscopy is the science of footprints identification, derived from the Greek words podo, which means the foot, and skopien, which means to examine. Next one, we have the poroscopy. When we're talking about poroscopy, it is a science of fingerprinting which deals with the study of pore structure found on the papillary or friction ridges of the skin for the purpose of identification. The term was derived from the two Greek words poros, which means pore, and skopien, which means to examine. The next one, we have the ridgeology. Ridgeology is a new term that combines relative science of poroscopy, idioscopy, and ridge characteristics for the purpose of positive identification of fingerprints. And next one, we will be discussing the early history of fingerprints. So based on the Bible, biblically, Apostle Paul in the second Thessalonians 3:17 said, "With my own hand I will write this. Greetings from Paul. This is the way I sign every letter. This is how I write." Many infer that Paul uses fingerprint impressions as a signature. So we will be discussing the history based on the brief history, early history of fingerprint. Have their USA, China, and the Philippines, and other countries, of course. On the time of Emperor Te-in-shi, the Chinese are considered as the first users of fingerprint, which they called as wachi. They use it as part of their ritual in their early history. Next, we have Holland. Holland. From Holland, individual identification was by means of wearing clothes of different design, tattooing, branding, and mutilation. Old Mexico. So in Old Mexico, the Aztec impressed their hands on the soft clay of their handmade idols. The Toltec stamped the hands on the earth dwarf, all who suffered sacrifices lives for their godly idols. And then from France, we have the paintings and rock carvings, you can see there, featuring hands designed have been found in the granite wall slab in the burial passage of Lane Gravines. Next, we have here from Babylonia. From this country, from Babylonia, the first use of fingerprints for identification purposes came when Babylonian magistrate ordered their officers when making arrest and property seizure to take the defendant's fingerprints. The cuneiform writings and clay tables are preserved and kept in the British Museum. Then from Japan, the thumbprint of the criminal is taken as regard sentence but was then considered as inferior sort of signature. The thumb mark which took the place of signature was not then intended to establish criminal's identity. So that's the end of module 1, the brief history of fingerprint identification. So the next module will be discussed next time. See you and thank you so